All right. All right. So we all ready to go?
Yep.
Excellent connection.
Better be.
Great birdie. Good eagle.
I don't think anybody's watching yet, so.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Stop.
Stop.
No, so I'm talking to. Stop talking to the app that wants to tell me about all its new things it's doing. I don't care. Oh my gosh, I don't know where to go now. All right.
Whew. Oh, we got 2 people.
All right. Here we go.
So many people.
Hello.
Oh,
Apparently, Philip, as of the last 10 minutes, has developed
a deathly cough.
the double pneumonia.
Yep. So.
Which is okay. Because, I have to do a long explanation about what on earth this is about.
And you know more about that than I do.
Yes. Before we do that, so welcome to whatever this is.
Another aesthetic musing.
Yes. Our late night radio that, oh, it would be so cool if it was actually radio. Then nobody would ever hear it ever.
You never know.
That's true. Somebody would hear it driving to Wyoming and really
I
dig
had
it.
a friend growing up. His dad had like all this old like radio equipment, and they had a broadcast tower coming off of their house, and it broadcasts like a whole like 100 feet. So you could get it on the radio within like a small radius of their house. You just use it to like play music.
So here's my idea. We should find a way to put this up where people are only allowed to listen to it at night. So they always have to listen to it in the proper context, in the proper setting.
Yeah, that's a feature they should have. Is just you can only play this at certain times of
Yeah.
day. Just weird restrictions on the videos.
Also, we need to improve this so that I don't have to get up and walk across the entire room to see the chat. Hi, Jason. Hi, Madeline. Um, especially because Philip has the double pneumonia and he's over by the chat and I'm scared. So, let's see. What does Jason say?
He's saying it's like a group chat, and sometimes he wants to talk. I mean, you can talk if you want. We just won't hear you.
You can call in. The boards are lighting up, as they say. I don't know what that means. Just kidding, I have a vague idea.
I'm doing fine. I feel fine besides a scratchy throat. But
It's probably, honestly, pollution's been nasty. It makes me have like a sort of, it makes me have like half a sore throat sort of constantly whenever there's an inversion.
yeah. Mm. They're talking about double pneumonia.
Don't people like die from that? 1 foot in the grave, you know? Oh my gosh. Hello. I'm doing it. Caller number 1. Oh. I mean, I'm talking back to you in real time, so I don't know what you're hearing. You might need to turn off whatever you're hearing. Well, the first joke was pretty funny.
I think you have to direct the.
I'm pointing you. Okay.
Okay. I think it's too late.
That's
now.
better.
I don't think anybody will appreciate it anymore.
That's true.
Also, it's weird to like hear you laughing in the past, and it makes me feel like you're laughing.
Which Casey is real? I don't know.
Am I speaking to the future?
Whoa.
That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about how we're all living in the future, and the past isn't even real, and I give up.
And people in California are still in the past, man.
Wow, that's crazy. Nothing's real, is it? Okay, I'll let you guys have your magical realism talk. I just wanted to get a little giggle in. I'm sorry.
All right, well, we will play your favorite song.
Oh man,
from
my
Backstreet Boys.
My dog died, and I was wondering if you guys could play BTS Shiny something.
It's your dog's favorite song.
Your dog.
In memory of my dog.
Like, he used to just go crazy when that played. In fact, I think he hated it.
Would just dance.
Also, it's now is a good time to bring up an important thing, which is that picture you sent of the cats, in which I did not see the freaking demon behind Maki for quite a long time.
Oh, isn't that so good?
Yeah, I thought it was about how Maki's eye looks like she's some sort of like Bond villain. But it was really that she was being snuck up on by like
like a
something.
demon.
Yeah, I'll show Philip the picture.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, back to our regularly scheduled program. Wait,
Yeah.
here.
You guys are doing a good job. I want to cheer you on and don't have too much fun.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna show it to Philip. Here we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys,
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Got to put back on my sexy radio voice.
I have to keep trying not to cough into my microphone.
Yeah. All right. So this week's topic is magical realism
Or something.
or something. It's
along those lines.
so it's a kind of a vague topic, and it'll probably be almost a kind of an eclectic chat between us. Uh, Essentially, what it boils down to is paintings that I think are neat. Although I was thinking about what I was going to talk about, and none of it's like super related to these paintings. So this is might be kind of just all over the place. Um, but a quick overview or a quick sort of explanation. Magical realism is a fairly broad category of painting and art and literature and everything that isn't, it's not super defined. It's not like cubism where you see a cubist thing and you know it's a cubist thing. Uh, what did the article, what did Wikipedia say? It's a, I guess I can pull it up. Said something to the extent, well, nope. Of, hold on. Broad description, or it's a broad descriptive rather than uh, a rigorous critical category. So, um, if you were to Google magical realism, then you get a bunch of dumb-looking pictures of like Alice in Wonderland sort of nonsense. Because I guess what Google thinks it is, or in some sense, it's like people who draw fantasy things semi-realistically. I don't know. But what I'm getting at is a bunch of paintings that are realismic, and they sort of give you a little bit of a surreal or a little bit of an uncanny feeling, a little bit of a sense of mystery, or at least they do for me. A lot of these paintings could probably be categorized as surrealist,
Or even just
realist.
for realism.
Yeah. Um and so why I like a lot of these is A, they give me the feels. They give me the feels in a way similar to like liminal spaces. Liminal spaces are pretty effective on me. You know, pictures of old empty Pizza Huts or whatever. For different reasons, though. Liminal spaces are effective because they do like they're all things that I've experienced, like places in like, and I have that sort of nostalgic haunting, whatever it is liminal spaces are supposed to do.
A place where there's supposed to be people, but there aren't.
Yes. So these are different, but these still give me the feels. A lot of these correspond for me personally uh, to dreams. So when I have a lot of my dreams are very place. How would you say
Place centric.
place centric? So for example, it'll be like my dream will take place in a house, and that house will have like a very specific feeling, and it's not so much about what's it's not so much about kind of the antics of the dream, so much as the dream is like, oh, it's in this kind of sort of spooky old house, and it has a feeling usually kind of indescribable, but a way of a way you could kind of relate is imagine when you were a kid and you went to your grandma's house or some family member's house they hadn't been for a while, and it's sort of simultaneously cozy and also like a little like mysterious, fun, a little spooky sometimes. So these are pictures that kind of conjure that up for me. So magical realism, the realism, these are like paintings that don't contain a lot of these particularly don't contain a lot of like magical stuff, but they sort of have that like feel to them.
Yeah. Well, a lot of at least the ones that you showed me are generally not of actual places. I don't think. For the most part, there's some of them probably are, but for the most part, it's like just a realistic rendering, and it's almost like using realistic rendering to create abstract shapes that are nice looking sometimes. Like this one we have up. Can you see that on the thing? Hold on. Actually, don't know what's getting displayed. Okay, it looks like it's displaying fine. Anyway, where it's like clouds in the water and the trees. It's almost like an abstract expressionist painting, but instead of just having like color fields or something, it's trees and a cloud and the shadow of the cloud and a pond. So it just creates like a particular sense through just like the design and the fact that it's real feeling. It's very interesting. At
Yeah.
least like with this one, that's something I've noticed. And
Yeah,
it kind of has a feel like that in quite a few of them.
yeah, usually there's a sort of rhyme or reason that's not very natural, or something that's kind of dreamlike. How fast can we like pick, or can we pick images?
I actually don't know. I don't know how to use. I mean, we can scroll through them.
We can scroll through because I have thoughts pertaining to certain images, or like as an example.
Oh,
Yeah, not this
shoot.
guy.
Hold on.
Although these ones by this Italian painter, these particularly get me. They give me that like this is very like very much like my dreams.
Mm-hmm. Here, keep talking.
Okay.
And set this up in a way where you can have a little bit more control.
All right. So yeah, kind of a weird category for us to choose, but an interesting one.
technical difficulties.
Uh-oh. Oh, crab apples. Gosh dang it.
I should have picked that up.
I just poured a bunch of water into a tea thing that did not have its receptacle to contain the hot water. An antics to break up the weird pause.
That you can't see.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Essentially, the interior, the strainer of the teacup was just sitting there, and I poured water directly into it without the cup to actually catch the water. All right. So, um, yeah, this has been an interesting thing for me in the past few years. I always have had very vivid dreams, and I really like them, but I haven't thought too much of them in, I don't know, an artistic sense. Uh, in the last few years, as I've thought of what I would really like to make. What am I talking still? And you say, hold on. What am I doing?
Here. So this is the best solution I could come up with. I'll give you a second mouse,
Uh-huh.
and you can use it to click on. I mean, in the case of the slides, we got the buttons right there.
Where am I going?
See these
Uh-huh.
buttons? Those are the
Yes.
slide buttons.
Yes, I can do it. All right.
So now you can scroll through those, look for the ones.
All
'Cause
right.
I don't know how to use OBS to pick a specific one on the slideshow.
So, this isn't my favorite, but it's a good example because I did look this one up. I don't remember any of these artists, particularly this guy's the English guy. That's how I categorize them. There's an Italian guy, there's a French guy, there's an English guy, there's the
an
American guy.
Yeah.
There's even a German. Oh my
There's
gosh.
a Cuban guy.
Yeah, there's a Cuban guy. I didn't mean to. I got all the important
Like,
countries.
each one of the ones you sent me, yeah, they're each from like a different country.
Yeah, so this picture, I looked up this picture for some reason. This isn't my favorite by any stretch. This one doesn't really do much for me. But the painter said he went to this country house and the whole thing gave him these feelings of kind of being mysterious and a little surreal. Um, and that's what he was trying to capture. And so that kind of like illustrates what I get out of a lot of these. Not this one in particular, but this is so
Mhm.
like it's natural, but of course it's not, right?
Yeah, it's like everything. It's kind of like what I was saying before. It's a lot of just like shapes that are rendered in in a more realistic way, where everything just feels like elements. Like that tree's like a crazy like hump thing. It looks like a hill from Mario.
It's um it's like
That hedge is like a perfect rectangle.
it's like human uh it's like order imposed on it, but not really in a really logical way.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's almost like it naturally is ordered
Yeah.
or something. It is odd.
Which is probably why these things give me that sort of dreamlike vibe that I really like so much. Because I suppose that's what happens in a dream, maybe. Is your brain is making this stuff and it's giving it its order and meaning. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go. I haven't like dug this deep.
That's what this is for.
I know, which is kind of fun.
You can explore your own psyche.
Yeah. So it's kind of like if I were to make the game or the short film that I'd really like to make, it'd be more or less just going through an area like this, and I would hope that I'd be able to capture the feeling because I'm not really interested in story in that sense. Like, I'm not really interested in it being about,
These women playing tennis.
yeah, so much as being in this area and like getting like the mood or the atmosphere or the vibe or whatever. Um, let's see what else we got. See, not you, not yet. We'll come to you. I don't think I. Oh, I don't think I gave you Hopper's. The one where it's a house just right up against like a field. It's like the people are just hanging out on like the side door of their house, and it's just like tall golden grass right up against their house. That one's really,
I think I know what one you're talking about.
yeah. If anyone,
Because of all these artists, I probably am most familiar with him. 'Cause he's like a very
yeah.
famous painter.
So Hopper, American painter, who you'll know him from
He did
Night
the-
Owls,
yeah,
Night Hawks,
Nighthawks.
Nighthawks, Night Pigeons. Night.
I think it's Nighthawks.
It is Nighthawks.
Yeah.
I was being silly. Night
He has
Robins.
actually a lot of like
Yeah.
diner paintings.
So again, here's a painting by him. It's not. There's nothing particularly. Nothing magical about it really. But he just managed to capture a place really well, and it kind of like I don't know. I just want to like go in and explore it.
That's probably a good way to describe a lot of these.
Yeah.
It's like I want to like experience that place.
Yeah, or they give me the feeling that again is kind of akin to the feelings I have in my dreams, which are often they're not all like it's not like the same one over and over. Which here's an interesting art conversation that we can take it or leave it. The idea that art can convey like these kind of things that are really, really, really hard to put into words. Because there's a lot, I think, in our experience that is really hard to put into words.
Mm-hmm.
And we really, really like to put into words. And occasionally you have somebody who is a really, really talented poet or philosopher or something that can like capture some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, words kind of words belong to like the rational side of things, and they tend to kind of be at odds with oh, I don't even know what you call.
The sentimental.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you have to really know what you're doing.
Yeah, masterful artists can usually convey stuff like this.
That's why at some point I think it'd be cool to go over some poetry stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what a good poet can do.
Yeah.
It's like painting with words.
Yeah. It's kind of what music can do the easiest almost. Which is another there's like 10 interesting art toppings for your art ice cream. There's like 10 interesting topics there, but one of them is um oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. My little ice cream joke. Ice cream comment. Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't know where you were going.
Oh, what was I? What were we just talking about?
Words.
Yeah. Um. Oh yeah. Another. I think something we've talked about, and for a long time, I think a lot of art is, and this applies all across the board, but we want a lot of art, a lot of literature, a lot of movies to be kind of how would you say it, instructionary. We want them to be, is didactic the right word?
Didactic.
We want them to have a message, right? We want them to have a message. Like a rational, makes sense message, usually about something that's relevant. Uh, and that's a really it's pretty, that idea kind of like dominates everything right now and for a long time. Like if you, I remember last time I went to a modern art museum, you know, every single thing is like, this is about,
They have the plaque.
yeah, they have the plaque, and everything is about like a social cause or something, right? But there's, so here we've got stuff that's not about anything like that. And this is really,
Well, and it's interesting too. Is I'm pretty sure Hopper has done stuff that is more that, because he did stuff kind of relating to the Great Depression.
mm-hmm,
But yeah, you have something like this one with just the house, the lighthouse. And it simply connects with you on a human level. It's not trying to like tell you something besides just inherently what you're going to feel from seeing the image. You know, you can like feel what the air would be like in this like little seaside area by this house. You know, the kind of what time of day it is. You know, you can imagine what it'd be like to walk up that the grass up to the house, you know, along the cliffs.
yeah,
And it's not like, oh, this means something. It does. What it means is, here's a place. Think about being in this place.
yeah. And that's not even to say that the idea of art making like an intellectual, rational, whatever point is necessarily bad. It's just that it's sort of all dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Um, whereas there are a lot of things, or a lot of other directions art could go. But yeah, I like that explanation. You just did a lot. Because you can think of a song or music that like, you know, makes you feel something that's not music again with a point, so not just like a pop song talking about,
Well, you could have a completely just instrumental song
yeah.
that evokes certain emotions. There's no words in there even to like tell you anything.
Yeah, it's like
So,
a Beethoven symphony doesn't have a message,
mhm.
right? It's there to essentially just be music, and music kind of like,
Well, even if it is connected into some kind of narrative, it's more like functioning to convey the feeling of like what's going on with a story
Yeah.
rather than to be like explicitly laying out information about that story or what the message of it is. It's just simply like again on a human level, like connecting with you to evoke a sense of melancholy or joy or something like that.
Which is why to talk about something that's which is why like a John Williams, why his music is so good or why like so effective because you could take an otherwise um like Home Alone. You could take like an otherwise like cartoony silly show and suddenly it just gets this little extra like depth to it.
Yeah.
That like getting a little off track maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but music is just a really good example of like here is um an artistic expression that's not saying something.
Yeah, it's not explicit. It's just
Yeah.
evocative.
Ooh, evocative. That's a good one.
Mm.
That's a good word.
It's a that's my big word of the day.
And the words we taught the kids today are evocative and linebacker. Okay, let's look at some of these. So yeah, Hopper. Yeah, these pictures of his like the Victorian house by the railroad track, which I also didn't include.
Mhm.
Again, you just want to like explore it. They give you feelings like this. There's like a longing almost in this one for me. A longing for me because, like you said, I want to climb up that hill and go in that house real bad.
Mhm.
Was browsing.
Mhm. I know it's not on here, but Nighthawks also does that. Even though there's actual like figures in that one, so it's not quite so liminal.
Yeah,
But it is kind of something where I kind of wonder what kind of chatter is going on in that place, or what would it be like to be walking down that street by the diner? It's like I wonder what the food is like there. It's like you like are curious about it. You're
yeah,
just like I'd love to be in there. It's like a looks nice. But at the same time, with Nighthawks, there's also a little bit of like that one in particular. It's like a little bit melancholy, but also kind of cozy feeling. It's definitely like a lot that you feel looking at it. There's a
yeah,
reason why a lot of people like that one.
yeah. It's like a little lonely, but it also looks like if you went in there and had like a milkshake or whatever they're serving, it'd be really kind of like pleasant.
Yeah, and you could maybe even chat with like some of the people in the
Yeah, and have
movies.
like a weird late night David Lynch moment or something.
Yep.
Oh, hey, there it is. Oh my gosh, it is here. Yeah, again, very dreamlike to me in the sense of like how my dreams are.
It's your dream house.
My dream house, like a nice Adams family house, a Victorian house. Okay, this guy. I remember this guy's name is Jupe. He's from Scandinavia somewhere. Just thought Jupe is a fun name.
It's the only reason why you included him. It's because his name is funny.
Yeah, I don't think I included. Okay, let me see. Where are we going?
This is the Italian guy?
This is the French
Or
guy.
the French guy?
Yeah. See, did
Oh
I?
yeah, yeah.
Um, these are a little more. These are probably the most like surreal ones.
Yeah, it's like houses and stuff like out in the middle of a wasteland.
Yeah, I straight up had a dream, more or less, not exactly like this. It was more like it was put this in like I don't know, a sunny desert.
Mm-hmm.
But
I just love on this one. It's like they have like a little, like a really tiny house, but then they have like a gigantic swimming pool.
priorities.
I know. That's like a huge swimming pool. That's like approaching the level of like an actual, like a lap pool. It's huge.
A lake.
It looks nice though.
Yeah.
Like I want to go swimming in that pool. And I feel like the inside of that house could be cool too.
Yeah, I always want to go inside the houses of these ones. Um, of this guy, the French guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
It's like the same house.
Yeah.
The same boat too.
So again, yeah, a scenario that's just a little like a teeny bit too orderly. I don't know. So that's what makes it. It's like a little uncanny.
Well, it's like the water is so clear it feels like it's almost not even there.
Yeah.
So it's just is like this pattern on the bottom. I mean, it's kind of how he always does it. Is like the water's always like vibrant like that. I mean, this one it's a little bit more green, like with the rest of the environment, but I mean, you look at the sky in this one; it's like really depressing.
Yeah. Or it's
But the
yeah.
water looks nice, like nice clear water.
Yeah, again, got like a house in the fog kind of thing going on here.
Mm-hmm.
See what else we got. Another one by this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Which one is this?
so this is Sanchez.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know if I included too many of his.
I think you only had a couple.
Oh, a lot of his are very jungly, and
Mm-hmm.
they're super cool looking. They don't like
There's like almost always a cloud.
yeah yeah, they don't connect to me. These are just kind of cool. I just really like his. As
Mm-hmm.
far as just like paintings, they're cool.
But
I
they're, yeah.
um now these are the ones that really get me. Honestly, it might be as far as tapping into a past experience. It might be because this could easily be a road in Uruguay.
Mm.
Not only is Uruguay um filled with second generation Italians. Their cities look Italian. Apparently the countryside looks Italian. Uruguay is very much Uruguay. Uruguay uh is very much like a little Italy or like a second Italy because
Spare Italy.
yeah, during all the tumult of the 20th century, a whole bunch of people from Spain and Italy just moved to Uruguay.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone there is like a second generation Italian. So that might be some reasons why, like, I just love these ones, but also, yeah, like that this yeah, so this one's like not just have I been on that road, like walked down that road
Mm-hmm.
in like a dreamlike kind of way, but like in real life too. These are like a little haunting for me in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I included a whole lot of these either.
I don't think
I
so.
don't, which is weird because they're probably
I really like this painting.
yeah.
I like how this like a combination of just like a realism bit. Like the main focus is that building, but when you start like you look at the sky, it's literally just an abstract painting.
Yeah.
Blue with like yellow paint on it. And then it's like mirrored in the shadow from the tree down below. So it's fundamentally like if you squint, it's like blue with a yellow band basically in the
Mm-hmm.
middle with like blue through the middle of that band. But it's like because it is a place. Well, I don't know if it's actually a place. It probably isn't a literal place, but you know what I'm saying. It does give it like a very otherworldly feel for somewhere that is a very plausible location, if not an actual literal place. And it makes you want to be there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you had any others.
I must have had at least one other of his, but
Yeah, I think the next one is
yeah, but I'm a little surprised.
yeah, this one. Yeah, this is a lot like the French guy.
Yeah, this especially. They got this whole like boat thing
You
going
got the
on.
boat in the water and the little house.
This one's almost a little more surreal than a lot of his are. A lot of his are more like that other one where, well, they're about half and half. But the other one where it's a very like plausible place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas this one is more, um, yeah, just surreal. Again, compositionally cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost a that's almost a side note to the again the kind of the meat and potatoes for me are the it's kind of like the strange uh difficult to describe feelings that these conjure up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I this is definitely one where I really want to hang out on that little island with the house.
Yeah,
Go around that house. Check it out. Is that an oven side? It looks like a pizza oven or something.
probably.
Instead of having a grill, you have a pizza oven. You got like the chairs right there. So it's like instead of having a barbecue, you just have a pizza.
That's how you
Sounds awesome.
that's how you do if you're on your little house in an island in Italy.
I can't. Yeah.
So I'm yeah, I don't know what else I've got.
I mean, I have more on the browser, but I can't. I don't know how to set that up right now.
I just mean as far as like thoughts for these. Um Unless we just
I
want.
mean, just from like, can just kind of cycle through them a little bit. Didn't talk about this guy too much. They are just like very nice images.
And you can. This one starts going a little farther into another kind of magical realism that you'll often see if you Google it, which is people. It's like we saw some of the pictures, but it's like pink sunsets with arches and sort of um they start getting like a wee bit silly maybe.
Mm-hmm.
uh like yeah, like sort of Greek looking like architecture with like sunsets and oftentimes the sea. A lot of sea in a lot of these. I think it's probably because that a lot of the sea is kind of like moving for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
This one's definitely more surreal. Here's this one. I really, really like this one.
Mm.
We could almost start talking about the other guy too here in a second. That's not very magical realism-y.
It's the like romanticism guy.
Oh, I mean, we could go to the romanticism
He's
guy.
like
I was thinking of
German or
the
something.
guy who just does the
Oh.
still lifes.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah. So in this case,
Or it's just realism.
I mean, this just looks like you can feel the cold breeze. I just really love it when a painter can like capture a really distinct kind of like quality of light.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not. I mean, that's kind of just the with this particular picture. I really like that, and also with the still life guy. When somebody can really capture the quality of light of like a warm evening or something, that's pretty rockin'. That's a cool
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment. This one is just yeah, it's like a cool rainy evening kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The real secret is all I want is like mood and atmosphere in anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually this whole when I started thinking about what I was kind of on the hunt for a few years ago, I thought about how I like horror movies. But I started to discover what I was really looking for in horror movies was that a lot of horror movies are very atmospheric,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just really, really want like atmosphere,
Mm-hmm.
mood, and for things to. So this is what I want in anything. It's
It's one
just
of the things I like Blade Runner.
yeah,
Is like a very good like environmental mood that permeates the whole thing. You're just like you can like feel what the place is like, whether it's a place you want to be or not. You're just like you're transported.
yeah. Or Suspiria was one of my all-time
Mm,
faves. And Suspiria, if you took it for just the story, it's pretty dumb.
yeah.
But about half that movie feels like it was plucked out of my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, really almost more than anything else. There's uh shots in that movie that really get me. Um yeah, that's the secret. That's the whole point of this episode for me, I guess, is that I'm just on the hunt for like mood and atmosphere and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
This
speaking of
this is Mr. Romanticism.
Mr. Romanticism, Mr. Caspar, whatever Friedrich von Germanhoff. Caspar something. Caspar's kind of a cool name also.
I think it's Caspar something Frederick.
Yeah. So the other ones we've looked at are almost all of them pretty contemporary. Hopper's a little ways back, but this is like almost 200 years ago now. We get some
It's
stuff
like
coming.
like 150.
Yeah, mid
It's like
eight.
mid 1800s
Yeah,
probably. Mid to late 1800s.
which this is an entirely different topic, but it's super fascinating to learn about Germany during this time because it's got to be one of uh the world's just most awesome cultures, but it just kind of gets eclipsed by the fact that there was a World War II and Nazis.
Yeah.
They
Well, yeah,
s-
like
they sort
the
of that
early like formation of Germany as like a cohesive thing was like had so much going on.
yeah,
Lots of cool stuff going on. And I feel like everybody's forgotten about that.
yeah, because
Like
you
whenever I learn something like, "Oh man, this is pretty awesome." Cuz before it was just nothing cohesive and then eventually it kind of all coalesced and then they became pretty awesome.
yeah, just the fact that you have like Bach, Beethoven, Brahms all in a row is like enough to make you one of the world's greatest cultures. But
Yeah.
yeah, so obviously romanticism comes out of this as like I mean, I always almost don't like to be historical because it's not quite true ever, but it's like a reaction against uh this is yeah, like you said, as Germany's becoming a nation state and the Enlightenment is happening and everybody's like, "Oh, do you know what's the best? Being hyper rational about everything."
Mhm.
And Germany was kind of like, "What about having feelings?" And honestly, a lot of like German romanticism stuff rocks.
Mhm. No, I like this guy's stuff.
Yeah, it's a little more like obvious than some of the others. Some of the others you're like, here's a painting of, a house on a hill and I want to go up there and he captured something neat. This one is much more like sunsets and we're in the ruins of a Gothic cathedral.
Yeah, he has a lot of ruins
He
in his
has
paintings.
yeah, this guy is the guy who did the quintessential romanticist picture of the guy standing above the like up on a cliffside above like the cloudy, foggy
Mhm.
thing below, valley below.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I almost picked this one. This isn't even one of my favorites, but I think this one is
It fits in with the other stuff
yeah,
better.
it's one of his more like chill pictures. It's
Mhm.
much less darkened sunsets and haunting ruins. Although I really love the sunsets and the haunting ruins. Let's see if we
Mhm.
got no.
No,
Get out. Did I only choose these two?
I
Oh
guess.
man, I already want more of this guy.
We'll have to do a German romanticism
I
episode.
mean, honestly,
That'd be a lot of fun. I really like a lot of that stuff. Just
yeah.
those like really intense landscape work. Like some of them are crazy. They're like some of them are like the most like epic paintings of a landscape you've ever seen. And honestly, they capture what it feels like to be in a place like that better than like anything else. Like if you've seen some of them where they're like doing paintings of from, you know, places in the Americas, like before there was like photography, and you're like, that doesn't it like you look at it, it's like nowhere actually looks like that, but it definitely captures a feel of that place
Yeah.
way more than any like photograph will. So it's interesting how that goes, but that's a for another day.
Yeah. That's an interesting aside. That's been kind of an interesting theme in stuff that I've read and looked at that I haven't like actively sought out. Like
Mhm.
this like era of German stuff, but it keeps popping up
Mm-hmm.
and it keeps just being cool.
Yeah. There's
But yeah,
some
we
great stuff. Mm.
all right. I don't know. This is the guy from England. This one's definitely very, like you said. This could just be like you blur your eyes a little bit, and this is just
It's
like
like
an abstract painting.
it feels like you're on a different planet. Yeah, it's like it's very dreamlike.
Yeah, this one's very dreamlike.
Like it's like I can't because it's like I can't. What the? I don't know what that was? Um, it's like I want to go there because like what is it like? Where it's like sunny but the sky is black.
Yeah. Oh, he
It's
did
like
kind of.
it. It's like a very like strange feeling thing to look at, and you're kind of curious about kind of just the nature. It's like of that place. But like for example, lighting like on the hill on that like tilled ground is like very real feeling. Like you can feel the shape of that hill and the texture of the dirt. You can tell what it is. It's like tilled farmland. Then you look at the sky and you're like, this is a feel like I'm on Mars or something.
It's actually it gets the whole like sunny rain thing pretty good.
Mm, yeah. Well, it's like a rainbow, right?
Yeah.
On the side.
But yeah. This is from the guy that did the badminton one, and again, he these ones don't really get me too much, but they're like kind of good examples of what if you were to be like magical realism, but not too magical.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like a little more like weird than some of the others.
Mm-hmm.
A little more magical.
More towards the magic end of
Yeah. Oh, there he is again. Talk about this guy.
I love these ones.
So again, these are all semi-related. This painter, we should know their names and like say their names.
Well, I just found out about some of these guys like today.
I know
So I don't
but
remember.
if we were doing a good job, we should be like, and now we're gonna talk about Mr. Edmund Fitzgerald,
I don't know. It's like the only ones I know specifically is like what
Hopper,
Hopper.
and Mr. Caspar,
Yeah,
Friedrich.
yeah. But yeah, like I basically was like, okay, I know this guy's Cuban. I know this guy is French. This guy's Italian. Just by like seeing what their name was, but I can't remember a lot of their names. I know the Cuban guy's last name is Sanchez. I can't remember what his first name is.
Yeah. So these are not very magical realism-y. I included them because they're awesome. This is like a guy who does mostly still lifes, but they do really, really, really capture a solid quality of light that gives you like a feeling or something.
Mhm.
Uh, this one honestly, um, they have like a certain magical realisminess to it because they're all taking place at the ocean, I guess.
Yeah, all of his stuff is like seaside.
So there is like a something going on. Yeah, honestly, with their names, we should have had their names. I have.
This was like not as well planned as it ought to have been.
Oh no, we were sort of like, well, here's a topic that is sort of interesting. Let's just kind of go for it.
We're still figuring stuff out. I think, yeah, being more,
I also have a cell phone.
yeah.
I could be finding this out right here, right now. So, um, although this particular painter gives me, it's kind of like Salvador Dali. And what I mean is, so Salvador Dali was actually a super duper proficient technical painter. Like he could like outpaint anyone basically. As far as he could paint things as realistically as he wanted. And some of my favorite stuff from Dali is actually not the super weird surreal stuff. Um, for example, there's a couple paintings I think, but at least one I for sure where he just paints a piece of bread and it's super awesome. It's like this. Like the piece of bread is so like beautiful and detailed and gives you like an uncanny weird vibe for a loaf of bread.
Hmm.
Like I like that way better than I like his his super weird stuff. Especially because I don't know. I don't know how we can get like I wish we could get out of our Freudian rut, but that's another topic from another time for sure.
Hmm.
Um I don't like stuff that's so this is David Ligare.
Hmm.
I don't like stuff that's overly psychological, which is which is like Dolly's whole thing.
Yeah,
But so this is David Ligare,
that's right.
and he did a whole bunch of super cool sheets flying in the wind. Are they haunted? Maybe
They look nice.
they do.
That's the thing that matters.
They do look nice. There's a M.R. James was an English ghost story writer, and there's one of his most famous is the ghost is essentially like a tangle of sheets that comes after people. I'm pretty sure it looks like this.
You're being told not to look up stuff.
Ugh. Wait, what? Amy, I can't. Yeah, yeah. Dolly's just an interesting character. He didn't want to paint stuff realistically, obviously. But let's see. So yeah, our friend David Ligare,
Very nice still lives.
really nice still life. I just really like.
Yeah, all of his paint. Like if you look at these two images, that's like what all of his paintings are. Like
Yeah,
almost literally.
yeah. We this
Like the sheet above the ocean, and then this. still lifes in this exact spot in this like marble cutout in the stone, the shiny stone. He
And
has like so many still lifes in this same like thing.
he paints people in togas around like rock formations, but I like those a lot less.
But yeah, no, I so nice.
Yeah. It's so yeah, this isn't really like, too magical realism-y. It's just a really, really, really nice still life. But like I said 50 times, he does capture like a really distinct quality of light. It just feels like dusk
Mm-hmm.
or like maybe a little before, and I always really love that because that's in real life when you stop for a moment and you realize that outside there's a really beautiful like dusky light and you can savor it for a second and then it's gone. So it's nice when there's a painter and
Mm-hmm.
they capture it and you can just like have it forever. Like they have the butterfly in the jar for you that you get to keep
Yeah,
forever.
yeah, they capture that. Well, it's like the the other day at work we actually had like a moment kind of like that where somebody went out to go get something from the back and like, oh my gosh, the sunrise is so cool. And we all like went out there like one at a time to check it out, and the clouds were awesome. Like everything about it, the way the sky was, the clouds were like pink, and like the light that was coming through on some of the mountains was like really gorgeous. And then one of our coworkers like showed up for their shift like 10 minutes later and we're like, oh, you should go check out what's outside, and it's like already gone. It's like you have like a tiny like 5 to 10 minute window for like this really nice lighting in the sky. And yeah, a really good artist can capture that and like immortalize it so it's not just a brief moment. It's kind of what I try and do with my landscape prints.
Yeah, I mean I've never thought too much about that before right now, which is why these chats are usually really nice. That's a really but it's almost like the same way we're talking about how a poet can maybe take something that's outside of language a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
maybe convey it or like
Yeah.
like a masterful painter can like kind of capture these yeah, like this kind of thing, I don't know, quality of light sounds like a boring way of putting it. But this
I
kind of
mean, it can
magical
be a
moment.
whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
That's just one of the things you can do with it.
Yeah.
Capturing just like a beautiful moment, but also specific kind of feelings or such. Or you could use it to just convey like a story.
Yeah.
A lot of these are much more just like the feeling of being in a place or just at a time or something. Like Ligar is very much just, it's like conveying like golden hour, the feeling of being at the beach or by the sea at golden hour. If you like it as a brief moment, then you don't have to get a painting of it. Nobody's forcing you to live an eternal, beautiful sunset.
I mean, if David Ligari finds you, he might. Just don't let him know where you are. Or the Haru sheet ghost will get you.
That's actually at my job, Prishka's. There's some very nice sunrises because I'm there looking up at the mountains quite a bit. Especially because I'm like the go-to put stuff away in the shed guy and take out the trash guy. Mostly because I like doing that because I get to go outside. And so just looking up at that's why I did a print of Buckley Mountain because I can see Buckley Mountain and Maple Mountain right there so well. And it's just in the morning it looks so nice. But yeah.
Okay, what else
I have we gone through everything?
probably. Yeah,
Yep.
back to Hopper.
We need to do like a. This is almost like a sampler of these different artists. We
Yeah.
almost need to do like a actual deep dive into one of them.
I feel like going through this, I've picked not my favorites of a lot of these. Although, again, Jupe. This guy's name is Jupe. Jupe Polder. All right. You give everyone we're here with the part where the credits. This is Jupe. I don't know Hopper's first name. Hopper. Is it Edward?
I think
Edward
it's
Hopper. You just have to type in Hopper.
If you look up Hopper artist, he is, I'm pretty sure, the most famous artist with the last name Hopper.
Yeah, Jupe. Most of Jupe polders have trolleys running through them, but besides the trolleys, which doesn't do a whole lot for me, a lot of the imagery in his gives me that dreamlike quality that I so long for. Like I've definitely been I feel like I had dreams in places like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not there's some like reoccurring motifs that in these sort of heavy duty place dreams of mine. There's some like reoccurring places kind of, but not really. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, this sort of like this is like kind of sunny like beach resort you almost, even though I don't think that's what that building's supposed to be.
Who knows?
Oh hey, in the middle of everything, one of this is back to David Ligare. This is his rock formations. There aren't any Greeks in this one, any Toga people, but this is a little. I mean, his rocks are pretty cool on their own.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a little more like magical realism-y.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Italian guy with his one on the island.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit more surreal. Like maybe this place exists, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Spooky.
I had to wave it around. I like how there's always like an antics with this pot. But so it was out of water and the lid fell off because I was tilting the pot so far, and then steam threatened to scald my hand unless I constantly like waved
Yeah.
the pot around to like make the steam go everywhere but my hand. So I guess there's always going to be an antics with the pot, I suppose. There has to be.
Should you do one with a toga paintings with people with togas in them? Which I think one of my favorite artists. I think he has quite a few toga ones.
Yeah, I don't know.
That I think would actually fit in a lot of these is Maxfield Parrish.
Oh
I
yeah.
love Maxfield Parrish.
Hold on. I also
His
this is suddenly making me wish that I had also gone and gotten a lot more because I have a whole bunch of paintings from different people that aren't quite like as magical realism. They're just like pictures of like country lanes and stuff,
mhm.
but they give me similar
'Cause
similar vibes. But yeah, Massive Parish. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he has stuff that's either like some kind of fantasy, like Greek mythology almost type thing, or like, or yeah, it's like a just some small town, but like the colors are so
Yeah,
crazy.
Maxfield Parish is super cool.
Or yeah, the one with the centaur is crazy. It's just his the ones where he has like a green sky is whenever I see his stuff, I'm like, man, I wanna. If I knew how to paint, I would want to paint like this guy.
Another person who has like technical prowess coming out his ears.
Yeah, like this one. Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah.
Like the church, the winter church, and oh my gosh, it's just again we can't show you right now. Maybe someday we'll do one
He
specifically
could easily have his own.
because he's Maxfield Parrish is another. He's actually a pretty famous painter from like the 20s, I
Yeah.
think, was when he did a lot of his stuff. But he's got quite a few things. Also, I like him for one, I like his skies a lot. But also he does a lot of mountains and I like mountains. Also, I should do more research on him because I like him a lot. But I guess he'd build like scale models of like mountains and stuff in his studio
Hmm.
and then use like lighting to simulate like the sun. He'd just do stuff like that, which is like crazy. And I kind of love that sort of a thing. Hmm. It's like going way over the top to try and get like a specific look for reference that they're going for. Mm. But yeah, this guy's water is. I wish there was more of his stuff too, because I was looking at some of his other stuff today.
I know, I should have. Let's find out what his name is. Also, we could probably be done
French, yeah.
fairly soon. Um, yeah, a little
I
less.
I think it was this guy because I looked up a little bit of information about some of these guys. I think it was this guy. He's originally an architect, and he does his paintings using like high gloss paints that you'd use for like furniture or something. Like it's not like a normal like canvas painting paint. Like he paints on like plywood with high gloss furniture paint or something. It's always like something that
Oh yeah, there's just
with
so many good artists that I kind of just left out. I didn't have, we can. Now I guess we could have gone to them all. I didn't think we could. I just picked a couple, but I'm like going down my Pinterest board, and I'm just seeing. Oh yeah, see those are so cool. How did I not? How did I not get that guy? Gosh dang it! All right, that okay. That guy's less cool. Let's see. Ooh, that's a cool one.
But
Philip Charles Jacques. Philippe. Yeah, Philippe
yeah,
Charles Jacques. Jacques. Jacquette.
Jacques. Probably
There's a
Jacques.
T. There's a T
I
at
don't.
the end though.
I don't know. I'm not French. But I don't know. I was saying like with a lot of paintings, you only get so much of it looking at it like a digital image.
Yeah.
Like if you go to an actual art museum and you look at like famous paintings that are like you see the actual like oil painting or whatever it is, it has a totally different feel. So I'm sure like if this is made with like a glossy paint, I bet that water looks crazy in real life. Also with Maxfield Parrish, because I know his technique is he would like layer up the paint, like thinned out layers of paint,
Mm-hmm.
like on top of each other. And I guess the effect is in like natural lighting, it feels like it's glowing
Hmm.
because the light like penetrates through the layers of paint and back out. But you can't get that effect through the computer screen. It's like you have to actually like see it to like get the full effect of it. So it's like always cool to actually see a cool painting like this in person because it's like it's always better. It's always better.
It's like once had an art history teacher, and he showed us. Oh, I can't remember, but it's essentially one of those paintings where the guy painted. They'd look cool on their own. Uh, but it's like just like 80% of the canvas is just like bright red, and then there's like a
Like a Rothko or something.
Rothko. I'm pretty sure it's Rothko.
He's like the quintessential color field
Yeah,
abstract
I'm pretty sure
expressionist
it's
painter.
Rothko. And the professor said, uh, if you see this in real life, it's like 50 feet tall, and it kind of just like overwhelms you.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, definitely. There's something to that. I mean, some of those kind of paintings doesn't do it for me, but I've seen some in real life where yeah, it definitely affects you way differently in person. Even if it is like something where you're normally like, this is just like blocks of red and blue on a thing, and then you see it in person, you're like, oh, I understand this now.
yeah,
It's a strange thing, but it's definitely with art that has like a physical medium, it's always like a more effective experience when you actually are there with it. Like the digital image of it will never do it justice because one, a lot of times you can't capture all the same color, but also just like the texture of the material, the light, how it acts with light is different. Same thing with like, when you'll see like pictures of like famous sculptures.
yeah.
It's like that doesn't do justice to actually seeing the sculpture and being able to like walk around it and stuff.
Going back to music, I mean, same thing with music. Oftentimes, I found that if you're like, oh, I'm gonna be cultured today, I'll listen to this like classical piece, and it's good in your earphones.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember Madeline and I went to a concert, like a classical performance, a couple years ago, and it was like the orchestra was like swaying with the music, and like the whole crowd was like moving with it,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't like a rock concert.
Yeah.
But just it was. I remember kind of like sitting back and being like, "Whoa!" Like everyone is just like moving,
Mm-hmm.
like reeds in the ocean. But yeah, that's an interesting topic that also almost could be its own whole episode. We could call it "Going to See Art in Museums," because there's another interesting topic, which is how we go to museums. Because I can't help myself. I just have to like run through the museum as fast as I can, trying to gobble up every single thing. And even if I consciously am like, all right, I need to like stop and like appreciate something, and I'm like, okay, have I appreciated enough? I gotta go see more art.
I can take my time in an art museum.
I feel like it's this mad scramble, and I
I
don't want it
like,
to be.
yeah, especially if there's ones that I paintings and whatnot that I really like, I'll spend quite a bit of time looking at it and seeing like what's going on. At the MOA, there's been some that I really, really liked. There's one when they did the lithograph like poster,
Yeah,
the
that was
French poster one. That was crazy. That's actually one of the things that kind of inspired me, not immediately, but eventually to do some printing. Um, but also they had one where it's like little gouache paintings of scenes from the Old Testament. And those were really awesome. I like went and looked at those 2 or 3 times. Just like go through those. Those were pretty great. I don't remember the name of the artist. I should have remembered, but
I don't remember
I,
either.
I, just,
Yeah, we
I just remember going there a few times and being like, these are great.
we go fairly often because it's a free date.
Yeah. I haven't been there in a while. I'm meaning to go back here sometime soon. I don't know if I've ever actually sat on a bench in a museum. I feel like I'm always like too engaged. Maybe if I'm like waiting for somebody, maybe. But even then, I feel like I still like just like get up and like look around still. Then you have some museums that are so huge, like the Art Institute of Chicago. It's so massive. Like I don't even know if you could get through the whole thing in a day. Like the whole day. Like maybe like if you like just like jogged through it and didn't even like look at anything, maybe you could. But it's like it's just sheer size.
Yeah, the we have family in Washington D.C. And so there's just all the various Smithsonians.
Mm-hmm. Those are pretty great.
They're super super great, and I just need to like go and chill out, but I have such a hard time. I just always feel like I'm scrambling through museum.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's usually for me sometimes it'll just be like some general things that I don't care for as much that I can just skip through pretty quick.
Like the entire modern art museum.
Yeah, generally, yeah. There's a lot of like modern art stuff where I'm just like, I can't be bothered. If it's if it's the kind of art where it's requires me to like read a plaque to begin to make sense of what I'm looking at, I don't care. that's essentially one of my criteria of going to a museum. But
Yeah.
so usually if I like look at them like this is just like a weird goofy 20-foot tall iPhone or something. It's be like this is dumb. Even then it has like a little mini essay on the plaque next to it. I'm like, I'm not reading this. It's like I'm not consuming this art. It's not worth my time. It's like I'm just gonna go look for something I find interesting by the virtue of the art itself.
I know I keep saying, "Oh, it's a topic for another time," but each one of these is like their
We
own.
keep talking about it.
Well, each one of these is like their own big topic. You're like, "Oh yeah, we could," because you and I have complained about. I don't know what it's called, conceptual art. I think.
I guess.
I don't
Well,
know. Just
I'd just say like plaque art. I don't know.
plaque art.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
where
Essay art.
where
You got to read the essay.
yeah, because the art itself doesn't communicate. I don't know. It's again. I was like, do I just dive into that? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not right now. Maybe. Uh, yeah. It's a definite. It's a definite trend in the.
Or anything that's like a lot of times stuff that's like a I don't even know how you'd call it. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Just thinking of like my criteria with like when I'm in an art museum, which things I just kind of like tune out. I've never like thought about it in like specific terms. Just when I go, there'll just be things where it's just like, yeah, I don't care about this. Cuz it's yeah. In a sense it's like it doesn't communicate anything to me. So why would I bother? Cuz even something where it's like, oh, this is just like a nice painting of a scene in a forest where it's not necessarily a message to communicate, but it's like, oh, it is communicating me a feeling of being somewhere, or it's like making me think of my own memories. Yeah,
The iPhone is deep.
the iPhone.
The iPhone.
Just do a series of paintings of just iPhones,
I mean, somebody has for sure.
probably. Just do a bunch of still lives of iPhones.
But we can have another grumpy episode about.
Well, I think we should do an episode of all the electrical box wraps.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Just
that for sure. I
be
was thinking
grumpy
about
about those.
just highfalutin
That too.
conceptual art in general. Although I'm not as familiar, but that's.
It's. I mean, it's not quite the same.
Do you
It's
think
more just
Do you think it's all for money laundering? I think so.
could be.
Well, the secret is I don't think the artists mean for it to be for money laundering. I think when people we've talked about this. So yeah, when people, you know, hang a bunch of nasal spray bottles from the skeletal remains of a cow and then litter like coloring book pages at the base.
Mm-hmm.
And usually if you I think that they usually probably have like a pretty well thought out idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think the artist does. I don't think usually they're like BSing, but the problem is a it just it's not like readable. It's like in a different language.
Yeah.
You're like I wrote this cool book. I've used this example before. You're like, I wrote this cool book. It's in a different language, but it's super deep, trust me.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't communicate anything to you, but if you read my plaque,
Yeah.
that's like of like weird academic psychobabble.
Yeah. You know, I don't. It's like, can I be bothered to do this? And if I do, will it mean anything to me?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like they're creating the art just for themselves,
Actually, yeah, that is
and
the
so it means something to them, like it's coherent to them, and so they created something that makes perfect sense in their mind.
I think that's actually really, 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 really what a lot of it is. And that's the justification for it too. And that you're like, well, this is a deep expression, like, of just,
And I mean that's like a common school of thought with art as, personal expression, which is like is a function of art, but also I think there's a lot more to it than that.
yeah. And if you, like, again, if you're speaking in like a completely different language, like, you're like, well, I just made my own art rules,
Yeah,
then you can't, I don't know, you can't like be grouchy when nobody
nobody.
has any idea. But you can be happy when you get to be in like the Museum of Modern Art
Yeah.
and you get a plaque and then yeah, people use your weird art to like launder money.
Or something.
I'm joking about the money laundering sort of. It probably
I'm
happens,
sure it happens,
but I am joking a
but
little bit.
because I was actually thinking about that today. I was like wondering, it's like, the person that makes like one of those like really weird sculptures where it's like this is 5,000 jars of like rotten jelly or something with like a different lizard in each one. It's like nobody like buys that to put in their house. Like and like a city isn't going to buy it to like put in their nobody buys it for like display anywhere. Like its only possible place of existence is in a museum, I guess. Which like is weird. That's like a weird thing to think about. Cause it's almost like what I don't know. It's like bizarre. Cause it's almost like creating a book where it's like, oh, this book only exists in this one library. You can't actually own it. It's like if there was like a book that only was in the Provo library. And you're like, why? It's like, because that's the only place it can be. Because nobody wants to have it in their house. Nobody wants it in their school library. None of the other libraries want it. And you're like, okay, well, why should I read it? I don't know.
Yeah, again, we could
I don't know.
we
No,
can
I don't.
probably make this its own.
It's like when you have like art that can't exist in like normal places, it I kind of don't get it. Cause I don't know. To me, like a big part of art is that it's something that exists in human spaces, which I mean a museum is. But at the same time, I feel like the purpose of a museum is to display notable pieces of things that are significant outside of the museum, and then you put it in the museum to preserve it. But then having things that are specifically to go in it seems unproductive. I don't know. But
Hold on. We'll have to look it up.
I'll look up that painting
All right,
or
look it
whatever
up.
it is.
Look it up for us. I mean, the secret is there's actually like most arts, there's like a gajillion crappy animes and a couple really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of super 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 crappy modern art and a couple that are rockin'.
Yeah.
Like a couple that are super awesome. So we're complaining about it, but some are really neat.
But the thing is in general, the ones that are really cool are still things where it's like, oh, some rich person might actually have that in their like living room,
Yeah.
right?
Wait, look the thing up so I can see it.
Look
Or I
it
can just
up.
look it up on my phone, but I'm no longer with where I can
Can I
see.
copy and paste from here?
I don't know.
Copy address.
So yeah, we're being kind of
Right now, we're just kind of rambling at this point.
we're throwing kind of broad complaints about some modern attitudes toward art, which are kind of weird and strange and like I don't know, like almost like divorced from like being human. What is it? Wait, does it not come with the guy? I thought the guy got.
Image is so blurry.
All right, what is it?
I can't. Gum?
Can I have one? Because if
Candy? What is it? Oh, it's a candy. Think. Read a thing. I don't read a thing.
so, it shows people grabbing the candy. If I can grab the candy,
Yeah, can you just take the candy? Or are you putting candy there? I can't tell if they're. I can't tell if the people in all these pictures I'm looking at are taking candy or putting candy. The pile is different each time, so.
but again, this
Or sometimes it's laid out on the floor.
this
mean-
is one of those things where it's like Duchamp's toilet.
The fountain.
Yeah, where it was a joke that was good once, and now that's what art has been for the last like 100
Yeah.
years.
That was when I couldn't think of words. That was kind of what I was thinking about.
Yeah, Marcel Duchamp's fountain, which is the guy who just flipped the urinal upside down and wrote his name or wrote a funny name on it. And he was making like
Okay, looks like you take these.
he was making kind of a tongue-in-cheek point right then and there, and that was a good joke
Mm-hmm.
once. And that's like what art has been ever since.
Mm-hmm. Just different in different places. Interesting. Okay, they're okay. So yeah, people take it. So interesting. Mm.
But yeah, we have just rambled the last little while. Should we call it good for this one?
Probably it's
Yeah.
almost midnight.
Yeah, because I was gonna say that all these things we talked about could easily be their own long discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a magical realism. Not really like an official. It's like a general
It's a
category.
It's a known term that is a vague category.
Yeah, it's a vague category. Basically, the moral of the story was a few things I like. A little look see into me, I guess.
No, I like them. Yeah, well, I think next time our plan is to do a little book review of was the Book of Tea.
Book of Tea.
I started reading it. I
Going
need to
back,
finish it. It's not very long.
just every other episode will be something about Japan, I guess. 'Cause we
Just reading books about Japan.
can't escape until we do German Romanticism, and then we will have had all of the Axis powers.
They'll have to do Italy. Yeah. But yeah, we'll do Book of Tea next time. I started listening to an audio version. It's pretty cool.
It is. It's a
I
really
really
cool
like
book.
it. Again, not very long. I like these like little short books. They just are nice. Mm.
All right.
Anyway,
Yeah, TTF. And thanks for tagging along. Thanks for joining us and commenting. So I lose my train of thought and I get up and walk across the room and read the tiny little chat.
should I just set up my projector next time? Just project it onto the screen.
Honestly, maybe. All right.
Or project it onto the wall or something. I wish my tall monitor worked. It kind of died. Which is unfortunate because that would be perfect. Anyway.
Rip tall monitor.
Anyway. Good night and sleep tight.